From Cichy Stadium in Fargo, North Dakota, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jed Thomas alongside my partner Mason Timian as we get set for North Dakota High School girls softball action as the Shanley Deacons prepare to take on the Grand Forks Red River Roughriders. Well, folks, the softball season is well underway. However, this is our first softball broadcast for you here on Shanley TV this season. We've had some bad luck weather-wise, but it is looking beautiful today, and we're excited to bring this one to you. For now, though, we're going to step away for a word from our sponsors, but don't go anywhere. Great game coming up next.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Butler Machinery Company, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Form Communications, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Netrix IT, Northern Improvement Company, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Shields All Sports in Fargo, and TCI Insurance.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School girls softball action. We come back to this game just after the first pitch, which was a grounder, went right into the dirt before it could reach home plate. But as we said earlier, it's a beautiful day for softball, our first game of the season, and there's a quick hit that's going to go foul, making the count 1-1. Anyway, though, beautiful day. For more on that, here's Mason Timian. Mason?
Yes, it's a beautiful day out here today, Jed. It's about 66 degrees outside with a slight wind coming out of the west at 1 or 2 miles an hour, so really wind will not be a factor at all today. One thing to keep an eye out for, though, is there could be some rain coming on later in the game, so we got to make sure to keep an eye out on that.
Definitely something to watch for. We've been a little snake bit this season weather-wise. Already had 2 broadcasts postponed, but like we said, it's looking good today, so fingers crossed, folks. At home plate is Teresa Matson for the Roughriders, and that's a quick grounder grab by Swanson and thrown out to first. Nelson makes the play, and that's 1 out for the Deacons to start things off.
Beautiful play there by Swanson. She was really on the hop right off that ground ball, and she got there and just had a beautiful throw over to Nelson for the first out. Always nice to get that first batter out.
Ingrid Swanson, definitely a name to watch here. The starting pitcher for the Deacons is a dominant one, the junior, although that grounder is going to be a single here for the Roughriders. Rounding first is Haley Rude, junior shortstop.
Yeah, that was a nice hit there by Rude. She jumped on that first pitch fastball and took it to the hole right on shortstop, and now the Roughriders have a runner at first base with 1 down in the first inning.
At the plate now, Gabrielle Newley, senior outfielder for Grand Forks Red River. Looking at Red River and Shanley, you're looking at 2 pretty similar teams here, both middle of the pack in the EDC. Red River coming into this one at 6-6, Shanley 3-4. Mason, what do you think could be the difference between 2 pretty evenly matched teams here this afternoon?
In these games, when you have 2 very evenly matched teams, it really comes down to fielding the ball when your pitcher is throwing strikes. You just got to avoid errors as much as possible and just try to not let any easy ones get by you.
Definitely cut down on those mistakes. Don't want to mess anything up defensively. We've seen that come back to hurt teams many a time. Shanley Deacons familiar with that. Not a super veteran-heavy presence for the Deacons, although a lot of young talent when you look at this roster. I think 2 names to really look at are the Schanzenbach sisters, Krista and Callie. 2 young players for the Deacons look to have a bright future with the program.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice to have some young talent to go along with some senior leadership from Ehrholtz and Rober and some junior leadership as well from Swanson. When you have a blend of young talent and old talent, it's always nice, and it really sometimes turns just a good team into a good program if you can get a blend of that going.
A lot of the same story on the other side of the ball as well. A couple more seniors, though, dotting that roster here for Grand Forks Red River. A few more upperclassmen, but again, that same mix of youth. So as we said, folks, 2 pretty evenly matched squads as that pitch from Swanson goes high.
I would say another key to the game today, Jed, is just try to put some runs up early on the board, and if you can do that, it always is nice for your pitcher because they can just settle in and really get into a groove if they have some run support early on and just not really have to be nervous. They can be a little more aggressive knowing that they have a few runs to back them up as well on the scoreboard.
Well said, Mason. And Ingrid Swanson, definitely not a pitcher you want getting into a groove if you're Red River. She is really shown she can be lethal at times. That one popped up back. Foul. Couple of those already. And, you know, we have seen Swanson put a couple in the dirt here early on. Something to watch going forward.
Yeah, she's really moving the ball around in the zone. You can see that already. She's really putting some high, some low. That really keeps the batters guessing and really gives her an advantage early on if she can set the tone.
These Rough Rider batters definitely still feeling out Swanson, trying to pick up what she's doing. Meanwhile, that ball lost by the catcher, and gaining another base is Haley Rude there. She's all the way to third. 2 bases off of errors already.
Yeah, you got to really do your best to block it if you're back there as a catcher, because that's another thing to go along with errors. If you're letting runners advance off of pass balls and wild pitches, that can really hurt you later on in innings.
Swanson's pitch is grounded past Airholtz, but it's going to roll foul. So that'll send everyone right back to where they started.
Yeah, the full count 2 out is always something to really keep an eye on, because you know that whenever the ball is put in play, the runners from third base is going to be taking off, and you really don't have to hesitate on whether or not the ball is going to go in play, because there's 2 outs and you can really just take off from the crack of the bat.
Well said, Mason, as we see Rude just chomping at the bit there to get off third, although that walk is going to put on base Julia Solheim.
Some teams do like to try when you have a first and third situation, especially with 2 outs, to maybe send the runner at first on a steal to throw the defense off a little bit, and maybe send the runner from third at the same time. So that's always something to keep an eye out for, too.
Quinn Kuntz up to bat now for the Rough Riders, and
there she
look
goes.
at that. Going forward there, Julia Solheim, the freshman, advances to second base. And the Deacons have really let the Rough Riders move around on their bases.
Yes, let's see if there's 2 outs, though, and if they can get a ground ball here and get out of the inning, that would be a big relief for the Deacons early on.
Strike there for Swanson. Something tells me we'll see a lot more of that going forward here. Ingrid Swanson, just one of the more dominant pitchers here in North Dakota softball. Another high foul ball heading backwards over the cage. Seen a lot of those today. Red River getting some good contact, though, early on.
Yeah, it would be a big relief here for Swanson. She's up 0-2 in the count, and that's always something you really have to take advantage of as a pitcher and not let these batters get back into the count.
Ball hops over the glove of Swanson. Grabbed by the shortstop. Nelson loses it, though, and advancing home. 2 runners for Red River here. And that'll be a double on the books there for Quinn Kuntz, and a 2-0 lead for Grand Forks Red River.
Yeah, tough break there for the Deacons. The batter did a great job of putting the ball into play with 2 strikes, and just right off the glove of Swanson, and just made it a really tough play there for Schanzenbach, and an early break there for the Rough Riders to go up 2-0.
Swanson just trying to escape this inning here. Defensive errors have plagued the Deacons early on so far.
Yeah, let's hope that the Deacons can try to get some support for Swanson here, because she is attacking the zone early on, and that's always good to see out of a pitcher if she's coming out aggressive, and hopefully she can find the zone here and get out of this inning.
Another ground ball that's going to pop to second. Easy out at first will go, and that'll get the Deacons out of the inning, although they find themselves down 2-0. So Mason, Shanley going to get their first crack here on offense. What are you expecting out of them?
I expect the Deacons to really be patient early on and not jump on any bad pitches. That's always nice to see. If you can get a couple walks, that really just makes everyone feel a lot better about themselves, because if you see runners on base, it always makes it easier as a hitter, knowing that if you put the ball in place, something good is probably going to happen.
Definitely, I like that line there, patience. You don't want to see your girls getting too jumpy here. You know, you find yourself in a hole early on. You think back to maybe some errors you made on defense. You want to try to get out of that, get this thing tied up, maybe take the lead.
Yep.
But you got to be patient. It's very early yet here in the bottom of the first.
Exactly. You don't have to try to get it all back in one swing. You just need to get good at bats going and just try to get runners on base. And if you do that consistently throughout the whole game and get a couple clutch hits from your right players, this game will be close in no time.
As the Rough Riders warm up here, it's Kiera Bohan pitching. The sophomore will get the start for Red River. Bohan had a nice season so far. Again, Red River just hovering around that 500 mark, much like the Deacons. Two teams that have yet to crack the pole here in state softball, but on the cusp, both have the potential. We'll see if they can put it together.
Leading off for the Deacons, number 4, Maria Sorensen.
And the leadoff batter for the Deacons, number 4, Maria Sorensen, the sophomore. Someone to watch for. She has got some good speed out there. Don't want to let her get on base.
Yes.
She can do things to you.
For sure. Watch out for a bunt here, too. She's been known to do that early on. She actually was the courtesy runner in middle school, which shows that she has had speed back from a young age, and she's really just turned that speed and been known as a speed player into a lot more all-around player as a starter this year in left field for the Deacons.
1-0 count, make that 2-0 now. Couple of pitches early here going into the ground. Swanson had the same issue in the top of the first. Not uncommon, though, both these pitchers just getting their first few throws in this game.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very important when you're up 2-0, now 2-1, but always make sure you see one strike before you go out and take a couple bat swings, because make the pitcher show that they're there in the zone, and you can just get a feel for her and then be ready to hit.
Sorensen with the big swing there. That'll even up the count 2-2 now.
This is a count that's very important for pitchers, because if you throw a strike, you're in a very good spot, but if you throw a ball, then you're in a full count situation, which is a very good count for the hitter. But
the strikeout here for Bohan, though, so a nice start here for her confidence going forward.
Yeah.
Always great to get that strikeout to start things off.
Yeah, exactly. She fell down 2-0 early, but then she battled back with 3 great pitches and was able to get Sorensen out there on the nice outside fastball.
That pitch mishandled by the catcher. And up to bat here for Shanley, number 7, Maddie Remke. She is the catcher for the Deacons. Only a freshman here. And we have seen a couple of errors out of her early on. Catcher, obviously a vital position in softball.
Yes, for sure. It's the same thing. A lot of this has to do with nerves, same as a pitcher. You see them missing a few pitches early on, but it's the same thing for a catcher. You just got to be able to find it and find the mitt, not letting it get by you for the rest of the game.
Well, speaking of some errors, Remke able to get to second there after a defensive error from the Roughriders. That ball went way past first there and let Remke advance. Actually, a play we saw unfold quite similarly, which benefited the Roughriders at the top of the first.
For sure. That was a beautiful bunt there, too, from Remke. She found the line. Just beautiful bunt, and she would have even beaten the throw if it would have been on line, but she was able to take an extra base off of the air.
Another low pitch there.
And she was flying around to second base, so that means she definitely has some speed here, so look out for her as a threat. If the ball goes into the outfield, she should be able to score.
It's Swanson, the pitcher, who sends that one down center field. She'll round first and then head back. But now runners on first and third for the Deacons with 1 out.
Yeah, the Deacons, their 3-4 is just an absolute fear for pitchers, because Swanson and Ehrholtz can both just really hit the ball. And when you see the 3-4 coming up for the Deacons, you can tell all the infielders and outfielders get a little nervous, because our 3 and 4 hitters can just absolutely crush the ball.
So Bohan getting a look here at Ehrholtz. She showed bunt, and now it's Swanson advancing to second, and she'll pick that up. So now runners on second and third here for Shanley. And this bottom of the first unfolding a lot like the top did for Grand Forks Red River, things playing out quite similarly.
For sure, this is a very good spot for Ehrholtz to come up big for her team. The senior captain, 2 runners on base here, hopefully can find the hole somewhere and knock in those runners.
Ehrholtz, as you said, Mason, a real power hitter, and there she's showing that off, although caught in right field for the out. So Ehrholtz looked like she might have something there, but a nice defensive play from Jada Steen.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little mix-up over at third base. Normally when you hit a deep fly ball with 0 or 1 outs, you can tag up and try to score off the sacrifice fly, but it looks like there was some confusion over at third base. And Ehrholtz did her job there, but hopefully the Deacons can fix up those errors that you're seeing here early on.
Towering fly to center field, grabbed for the out, and that will do it for the inning. Grand Forks Red River able to hang on to that 2-0 lead, now headed into the second. And Mason, that was really Red River showing some resilience there. Looked like they were in a bit of trouble and then came roaring back. There was some great defensive play.
Exactly that. That's sometimes a big key to the game. If you can get runners on base, the Deacons and Roughriders both had runners on base here in the first inning. The Red River Roughriders were able to take advantage and the Deacons were not. And if that trend continues, that's normally a big difference maker on wins and losses here.
All right, well, it will be fun to see how that develops going forward. Obviously, first inning early in the season, we've seen a couple of errors from both these teams. I think one thing we might see is both pitchers really settling in a bit more. We saw a lot of ground balls, some high balls from both of them, uncharacteristic for both pitchers. And like I said, I think we're really going to see both get into a groove here going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I really expect Swanson to really find her groove here in the next couple of innings, and hopefully if she can get some support here from her defense, she can really settle in and keep the Deacons in this one until they can put some runs up on the board.
It will be interesting to see how the Deacons come out defensively after a first inning where, really those runs were given up due to defensive errors. It'll be interesting to see how they respond, maybe clean up their game a bit more.
Yes, exactly. But one thing that's important to think about that is some pitchers could get upset at their defense when they aren't making plays, but someone like Swanson is just a class act, and she will stay behind her team no matter what happens. And you can tell she's definitely level-headed right now. She's not upset at her team or anything, and she's there for them, and they're there for her. So expect the Deacons to find a groove here.
Well said. The junior Swanson, definitely a leader for this team. It's now Red River coming back out. And, we do mention a lot about the defensive errors, but there was no shortage of offense from Red River really producing their own. They got a ton of contact with the ball. It was really a pretty impressive opening inning from the Red River offense.
Yes, for sure. When you saw Swanson get ahead in some counts, but the Roughriders were able to put the ball in play. And if you can do that consistently when you have 2 strikes on you, that can be a big key to the game on offense.
It's the right fielder, Jada Steen, out there to bat for Red River. Swanson on the windup, low ball. And that'll make the count 1-1, I believe.
Yes. Swanson, I'm sure she's looking to attack the zone here and try to get a quick inning here after kind of the long first inning and try to go 1-2-3 here for the Deacons.
And the strike for Swanson makes it 1-2.
And those 1-2-3 innings, they can really be beneficial to a team if you're down just by 1 or 2 runs early on in the game. If you can get a couple of 1-2-3 innings, that really gives your defense some confidence, and confidence really has a lot to do with this all. But
another ground ball there from Steen, and that will put her to first. Schanzenbach could not track that one down, and we've seen a lot of those hoppers from Red River.
That was a very nice hit there from Steen. She's only an 8th grader, and she did not seem to be intimidated when she was down in the count against Swanson, and she really just stayed back on that fastball and was able to find the hole on the left side.
High ball there from Swanson. 1-0 count.
It's always interesting to see what teams do with 0 outs. If you get someone with speed over at first base, if they'll bunt them over or what they'll do, and we'll see what the Roughriders do here.
Big swing, although that one's going to go out for a foul ball. Still a 2-0 lead here for Grand Forks Red River. Offense seemingly picking up where they left off from that first inning. Shanley again not playing the cleanest defense.
But to go along with that, you can really tell that the Lady Roughriders came off the bus ready to hit the ball today. They've just really been making great contact so far early on in the game, and you have to give some credit to them too as well on offense.
Absolutely no question as we see the great hit there, but the even better defensive play from Schanzenbach. And that's got to feel good. Callie Schanzenbach had been burned a little bit earlier on, but she really redeemed herself with a great grab there.
For sure. That was a great, great double play there from Schanzenbach. That can really turn the tide of an inning, and now the Deacons just went from kind of a rough spot there with the leadoff runner on to now 2 outs and nobody on. So great opportunity to get out of the inning here with no damage done.
Absolutely. Swanson there with a high ball, though.
And with a young player like Schanzenbach, that's always big to see. A big play, and when all the older players really congratulate her for that play, she can really find some confidence in the game and just really settle into her spot, because obviously she's talented if she's playing as a freshman over at shortstop, but sometimes it just takes a little confidence to get her going.
So the 1-1 count now, 2 outs up on the scoreboard. Swanson with the pitch and the big swing. Won't make contact, though. At the plate right now, it's Shauna Keatsman, the senior infielder.
Yeah, you can tell that Keatsman is looking just to make contact here like a lot of her teammates have done when they're down in the count here, but I'm sure Swanson is looking to maybe try to get a couple strikeouts and help that defense out, and just when she gets up in these counts, to try not to let the hitters get away with a easy hit or something, just to try to keep the ball in good location and maybe go for a couple strikeouts here.
Swanson with the high pitch. That'll be called a ball.
Full count now. Yeah, full count, 2 outs, and you. This is a very good time to just be on high alert here as a batter, because you know you got to really get one pitch, and if you see it, you got to go for it. And Swanson gave it to her, but she just didn't really like it, and the umpire thought it was good, so it was strike 3 there.
A nice inning there.
Yeah.
Nice start to the inning there for the Deacons. Doing some good things defensively. I think really redeeming themselves from a bit of a rougher first. Red River, though, really still continuing some solid offense. If I were Grand Forks, I'd be pretty happy with how I'm playing on the road here, making a lot of contact early, looking confident, and that's the way you got to play.
Yeah, for sure. They're just putting balls in play and just doing what they really need to do to try to win this game. And if they can play solid defense behind Bohan, she really set the tone early in the first inning. And if they can continue to play good defense behind her and make plays, the Roughriders are looking very, very tough today.
In that first, we saw the Roughriders get themselves into a little bit of trouble early on. They let the Deacons get a jump on them, but they really came roaring back with 2 nice defensive plays, tracking down some big hits from Shanley. It'll be interesting to see now what the Deacons can do a bit further down in their lineup.
For sure. I think it's very important for players lower in the lineup. Normally maybe don't have the power of girls in the 3, 4, or 5 spot, but normally you can have some girls who can really just put great contact on the ball, and you see some speed in the bottom of the lineup as well. So if you can get a couple of runners on who are lower up in the lineup, if they're still on base when you get back to the top, that's always a dangerous spot for the defense to be in.
It's Gabby Nelson, the lefty, up to bat here for Shanley. We do talk about speed lower in the lineup, but Nelson definitely a player who possesses some power. She can really slug that ball.
For sure. If you make a mistake as a pitcher and give her a fastball where she likes it, she can definitely make you pay for it and hit a ball deep, deep, deep in the field.
Early ball here from Bohan. Second pitch, though, is a beauty. Gets Nelson to swing at it, evens up the count.
Yeah, you saw the outside fastball there, and Nelson really looked to give it a very, very solid contact, but she just got a little out in front of it.
Nelson with the hit down the middle, but the play on defense a little too quick for her. So, again, some strong D here from Red River. Haley Rude was able to track that one down and get over to first.
Yeah, very nice play there from Rude, and just got Nelson by 1 or 2 steps. That's a big confidence boost there for Bohan, falling behind early in the count and just being able to get the leadoff hitter Nelson out there.
Schanzenbach, the Shanley shortstop, up to bat. She was the one who made that nice play to end that last at-bat here for the Roughriders, and now we'll see what she can do on offense. Again, we mentioned the youth of the Schanzenbachs, and I do say Schanzenbachs plural as there are 2 of them. Here a towering fly is grabbed in center field. As I was saying, though, Callie Schanzenbach, girl who just got out there, she's a 9th grader, and her sister, Krista, an 8th grader, so doing some pretty good things there at pretty young ages.
For sure, that was very solid contact there from Schanzenbach, and she almost got it behind the center fielder, but the center fielder was able to make a very nice play on it as she was retreating after that fly ball.
And that's the 3rd time we've seen that here from the Deacons. We saw Erholtz, Linster, and now Schanzenbach with some great contact. Looked like it was going to beat the defense, and then Red River able to track those balls down.
Looks like McSparron just took a hit by pitch there, and that is a nice boost there for the Deacons with 2 outs to get a free runner over to first.
Definitely nice to get someone on base here, and you can tell Bohan really wants that one back. You see the look on her face there. Always something you're not pleased with as a pitcher, just giving up the base.
For sure, and when you hit a batter, you need to make sure as a pitcher just to settle back in right away and try not to lose control, because if you lose it, then an offense can really do some damage with 2 outs if you're given a couple of free bases, and then all it takes is 1 hit to put a couple of runs on the board.
For sure, it's a mental game, and as you said, making contact with the batter can really shake your confidence as a pitcher. Bohan, though, going to make the play to first. It was a bit of a wild throw there, but it was nicely grabbed by Solheim, and that'll end the inning here. Shanley still down in that 2-0 hole after 2 innings.
Yeah, you are in a 2-0 hole here as the Deacons, but you have to have a sense of confidence because your pitcher Swanson is pitching very well, and the defense seemed to come alive there in the 2nd inning, and the bats have been alive the whole game as well, and if some of those deep fly balls are able to find the gap rather than go right at people, the Deacons are definitely poised to make a run here in the middle of the ball game.
Definitely. I think we've seen Shanley really elevate their game in that last inning. Red River continues to play strong. I think the difference in this game so far has been Red River came out a bit more ready and settled in than Shanley did. But as this game goes on, I think you can really see the parity between these two squads.
For sure. You can tell they're very even matched so far. It's just the Roughriders were able to come up with a hit with runners in scoring position in the first inning. The Deacons were not. But still plenty of game left to be played here for both teams, and let's see what they have in store for us as we continue on.
That fast start, even more impressive when you consider Grand Forks is coming in here as the road team. You always worry about coming in after a little bit of travel, maybe coming out a bit slower than this home squad, but not the case with the Roughriders. Although, as you said, Mason, definitely both teams settling in here.
For sure. As a road team, it's always important when you get off the bus just to really have yourself in a state of mind where you're ready to play and ready to just get out to a good start, because normally if you can start games with good starts, it's very important, so you don't have to maybe make a comeback late in the game, and you can just really feel good about yourself early on in the game and just get into kind of a groove and just feel confident and very loose. You can really start games sometimes very tight, and you just don't play to the best of your ability if you do that. So if you're able to get a lead early, you're really able to settle in and play to the best of your ability.
All right, so we'll get our third look at Ingrid Swanson here in the top of the third. We've seen her settle down a bit more. She was able to pick up the strikeout to end that last defensive inning for the Deacons, and there's some contact from the Roughriders. That'll be a foul ball, though.
And when you see Swanson here, as a very experienced pitcher, she knows that when she gets to the bottom of the order, it's just very important to attack the strike zone early on and just try not to give up any free bases. And if these hitters in the bottom of the order are going to get on base, they're going to have to earn it, and just try not to give up any walks here, and just do your best to keep the pitch count low so you can try to stay deep into games here for the Deacons.
Nice pitch from Swanson. They're able to pick up the strike, and then a swing at that one mishandled by the catcher, but able to get back onto it.
I'm sure it would be comforting for the Deacons here. Swanson up 0-2, and she has one strikeout so far. If she could pick up a couple here, she could really get rolling, and that could be a scary sight to see if you're the Roughriders.
Not what you're looking for, though, if you're Swanson hitting the batter here and advancing her to first. Unfortunate there for Ingrid Swanson as she was looking to be settling in.
Yeah, like I just said, it's very important to just try not to give up any free bases to hitters on the bottom of the order. But Swanson, she slipped up a little bit there, but we'll see how she responds to that hit by pitch there.
The windup and the bunt coming from Red River there, although that one will roll back and go foul. It's Haley Rude at bat here for Grand Forks. She's already done some damage in this one.
Yeah, it looks like they're back up to the top of the order here, and Rude is definitely going to be ready to try to get this inning going and try to get a little more run insurance here for the Roughriders.
Showing bunt, she'll back off and then let that one go for the strike. Matson chomping at the bit there on first, looking to pick up another base there.
Yeah, you can tell she's definitely very aggressive on the base path right now. Let's see if the Deacons are able to do anything to try to get her out if she gets too aggressive.
Swanson with a lower pitch. Matson going to head back to first reluctantly, though. And you love to see that out of your leadoff hitter, really just showing a lot of confidence and being really aggressive looking for that extra base.
Yes, exactly. You can see she might be getting some pretty big leads, but Remke is definitely doing a good job of keeping an eye on her.
Well, that'll send her to second. She doesn't need the steal. Instead, it's Haley Rude who's able to get the single. And this top of the order for Red River has been really impressive today.
Yes, they have. They really have not been scared by Swanson at all, and they've just been putting great contact on the ball, and they've been able to get base runners on early on in the innings. And let's see how the Deacons respond here with runners on first and second and nobody out. Let's see if they can try to get out of this inning with no damage done.
It's Gabrielle Newley, the senior, up to bat for Grand Forks. Showing bunt, backs off, and then takes a swing that's grabbed by Swanson, then makes the play to first. What a play for Ingrid Swanson. That'll boost your confidence.
For sure. What a fantastic play there by Swanson. She was able to help herself out with just an absolute snag off of the rocket line drive and was able to throw it back over to Nelson. And now all of a sudden the Deacons find themselves with 2 outs and 1 runner on, and a very good chance to get out of the inning here with that 2-0 deficit rather than that being increased.
And boy, I got to tell you, I was a couple seconds behind that play. I did not realize Swanson had that ball.
That was just a fantastic play. You can see 2 innings in a row. Schanzenbach and now Swanson have made great plays to really help out the Deacons and try to keep this Red River lead down as low as possible.
Strike there from Swanson.
something to keep an eye on. You can really see that Red River has some very aggressive base runners, and Newly is really getting big leads, and it looks like the middle infielders are trying to get Remke's attention to maybe try to throw one back, maybe try to pick her off. You can see Schanzenbach really trying to get her attention out there. That's really something to keep an eye on.
Solheim is at the plate. Swanson with that pitch, and that's a strike, and that'll do it. Ingrid Swanson started that off a bit rough, but really came on strong there to finish that out.
Yeah, you see a trend. 2 innings in a row, the Deacons looked like they were in a little bit of a tough spot, and they were able to get double plays off fantastic plays from Schanzenbach and Swanson. And Swanson slammed the door shut with 2 strikeouts to end the innings and back-to-back innings here. And now the Deacons find themselves still in that 2-0 deficit, maybe looking to get 1 or 2 back here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, we've seen them really bring that defense up, put that together. Now we'll see what they can do on offense. And, I really think they started offensively better than they did defensively. They just have not been able to catch a break. Red River not making too many errors. They're playing great deep and right and left field. We've seen them make some plays. So we'll see if Shanley can catch them, though, here. Defensive side of the game really starting to click, and that offense has been going all game long.
For sure. That's part of the humor of softball, though, Jed, is sometimes you can hit a ball a mile into the sky, and the center fielder catches it on the warning track and you get out, and sometimes you hit a very weak dribbler and for some reason it hits off somebody's glove and you're still able to get on first base. So really sometimes it's almost more of just if the ball finds a hole or not, because when you see the Deacons making solid contact like they are right now, you just have to figure the ball's bound to find a good hole and get a couple runners on base for the Deacons.
Absolutely. We've seen that in this game. You'll see that in most softball games. It's really the nature of the sport.
For sure. And now you see the top of the lineup is coming up here for the Deacons. Let's see if Sorensen can get on base to start off the inning and really put the Deacons in a great spot to try to get a couple of runs back here on the Roughriders.
Sorensen 0 for 1 so far today. As we mentioned, her big weapon is her speed. We'll see if she can make it on base and put that to use. Quick hit there from Sorensen will go foul, although good to see her making contact. A lot of the Deacon lineup really making some solid contact, and same for Red River. We've seen some pretty lively bats offensively.
For sure. It's always nice to put good contact on that first pitch, because now you know you have your timing down, and now you just have to find a hole with it and try to get on base here. But now you see Sorensen goes down 0-2. Let's see what she can do here behind in the count.
Sorensen, the sophomore, wise beyond what the numbers would say, though, has been playing since middle school and had a pretty active role since middle school, as you mentioned earlier, Mason. Definitely a team leader despite being just in the 10th grade.
For sure. And another thing to keep an eye on here for the Roughriders, you can see Bohan is really doing a fantastic job of mixing up her fastballs with her off-speed pitches here early on in the game. Let's see if she can continue to keep a good blend of that going, because that can keep the Lady Deacon hitters guessing all game long and really give the Roughriders an advantage.
Bohan with 2 balls there after going up 0-2, and now Sorensen will foul that one back to stay alive.
Yeah, great job fighting off the curveball there. You can really see Bohan has some great curve on her curveball, and that's could really be a problem here for the Deacons if they aren't able to take advantage of their fastballs when they see them.
We've seen it fool a couple of girls so far. Bohan with the pitch there, and that'll make this a full count.
Yeah, there you see it again. Just very good curveball, but an even better job by Sorensen to fight that off and not swing at that. Now she has a full count, and it's a great opportunity to get on base here and start off the inning for the Deacons.
And Sorensen will hit the foul to stay alive once again. We've seen her go foul in that direction a couple of times now.
Yeah, that just means she's a little bit ahead of the pitch, and let's see if she can just wait a split second more and just put that in the field of play and see what she can do with it.
3-2 count, no outs here for the Deacons, and that grounder.
Ooh, we must have had a oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, so we did have it right.
Yeah, it looks like the arrow is down there, not up here. Great at bat there though from Sorensen, and she's now able to get the leadoff runner on for the Deacons.
Now up to bat here for the Deacons, As Sorensen's going to take off towards second. Take a look at this. She's able to get there. Maria Sorensen with the stolen base. And how about that?
Yeah, you see she got a little bit too aggressive of a lead, and the Roughriders were ready for it. They know that she has some speed, but fortunately for the Deacons, her speed actually bailed her out there, and she was able to beat the throw over to second before they could even get it there. So you can really see the speed of Sorensen coming into play here early on in this inning for the Deacons.
Definitely, the Roughriders really did everything right on that play. It looked like they had her, and as you said, that natural speed from Sorensen just bails her out there, and that's what makes her a great leadoff hitter. Big swing there from Remke. She'll make contact, but it's going to bounce behind her.
Yeah, for sure. Now she's down 0-2 here, Jed, and I think a big key here for Remke is just to try to put a ball in play, and if you get it to the right side of the field, Sorensen should be able to get over to third base here for your 3-4-5 lineup coming up for the Deacons.
High ball there will make it a 1-2 count.
And as I mentioned earlier, the 3-4 lineup of the Deacons is very formidable with Swanson and Ehrholtz, but I forgot to mention Elena Lister. She was all-conference last year for the Lady Deacons, and she's actually the 5-hitter. So, yeah, it's actually a 3-4-5 that you really have to be careful for if you're the Roughriders, not just the 3-4.
Absolutely. Very strong top of the order there for the Deacons. Very deep. So it's Swanson, the pitcher, up to bat, and as you know, a strong pitcher, but a very strong batter. She's able to generate a lot of offense, and that's something the Deacons are really looking for this season. They lost a fantastic player in Lauren Rotunda to graduation, and there are a couple of girls here who maybe aren't able to fill that role. Rotunda really a superstar for the Deacons, but a lot of girls who are just playing solid offense and some good numbers. Numerous people who are able to maybe step up and fill that gap.
Yes, for sure, Jed. And you can see with Swanson here, knowing that she's the pitcher and knowing that she's down 0-2 here early, just having that runner on base in scoring position, she can really help herself out here with a couple of runs and just try to get herself as a pitcher back into the game here too.
Swanson will let that one go by.
Another beautiful curveball there from Bohan. She's really starting to settle in with those off-speed pitches.
Bohan now. Swanson able to send that one down the middle. Sorensen rounding third. She'll retreat back, though, and now runners on first and third for the Deacons as Swanson is able to win that duel of pitchers there from the batter's box.
Yes, great at bat there from Swanson. She was able to hit a ball up the middle, and now you have runners on the corners here with one out, and a great spot here for the senior captain, Taylor Ehrholtz, to get a big RBI for her team.
We talked about her power hitting. Looked like she might have a big hit earlier on. A great defensive play, though, negated that for the Deacons. We'll see if she can finish a job here, though.
And a big thing to know here is if you get even a deep fly ball into the outfield, with the speed from Sorensen at third base, she really should be able to score off of a sacrifice fly. So really, Ehrholtz, if all she has to do is put the ball in play here for the Deacons, and they should be all right. But now you see her down 0-2. It gets a little bit tougher at 0-2, but let's see if she can get the job done here for the Lady Deacons.
She's making contact. We'll see if she can put it all together, though. Bohan with the pitch. It's high. Sorensen goes back to third, and they're watching her like a hawk. You can see why. She's already burned them once.
Yeah. Be careful, though, with that throw down to third base, because if that's a poor throw, you just gave up a run to the Deacons, and Swanson would be able to advance to second base as well. So you always have to keep an eye on that.
Ehrholtz clobbers this one deep to right field, but the play is made. Sorensen going to take off for home plate, and she will cut this deficit for the Deacons. So Ehrholtz just about looked like she was going to go the yard. Able to get the Deacons, though, back. Just down one run now.
Yeah, of course, Jed. Like I said, a deep fly ball there with 0 or 1 outs really allows the runner the opportunity to score off of a sacrifice fly, and that was a job well done there from Ehrholtz to cut the lead in half here for the Deacons.
And, if you're Steen, the right fielder, that's the second time now you've made a nice play in right field against Ehrholtz. Got to be watching, though. She is just hammering them her direction.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see Ehrholtz get up again because she has gotten out twice in her first 2 at-bats, but she really seems to have Bohan's number here and making very, very solid contact on the ball here early on for the Deacons.
Elena Linster up to bat for Shanley. You mentioned her, an all-conference player last year, and she did that as a freshman. She's just a sophomore this year. Saw her make some great contact in her last at-bat, just was unable to capitalize on it, was caught out, but we'll see what she can do. Nice hit, but it's grabbed by the shortstop, and that should do it. Looks like they're going to, I think it bounced into the glove, so nonetheless, she was thrown out at first.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play there from Rude. That was an absolute rocket off of the bat of Linster, and Rude handled it with no problem whatsoever and was able to retire Linster there for the 3rd out of the inning.
So productive inning nonetheless, though, for Shanley. It's now 2-1. They've cut this deficit in half. And, things are really looking up for the Deacons. At the same time, I don't think Red River has taken a step back at all. I think these two teams are just both, we've said it a lot, but it's really true. They're both kind of evening out here. Shanley rising to the occasion now after a rough start.
Yeah, I think both of us can really sense a great game brewing right now between the Deacons and Roughriders. The bats are going for both teams. Great pitching from Swanson and Bohan, and the fielding is really starting to come alive too for both teams. So really just should be a really fun one out here today as the game starts to get into the later innings. It should be a fantastic finish here at Cichy Field.
Absolutely. And, if I'm Red River here, they've come really close to adding to this lead in the last 2 innings. Shanley's done a nice job of getting themselves out of some bad situations, but you've got to feel like Red River is just a play or two away from expanding on their lead. Shanley's either going to have to maybe step up a bit at the pitching, not let themselves get into those bad situations, or Red River may take advantage.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jed, because Schanzenbach and Swanson have been able to make fantastic plays the last 2 innings for the Deacons, but you can't expect that to happen every single inning. So eventually you're going to have to get runners out early on in the inning, or you're definitely going to surrender some runs here in these last couple in the middle innings of the game.
So top of the 4th in a tight game here, as we mentioned. 2 pretty even teams. Grand Forks, Red River, 6-6. Shanley at 3-4. Both teams hovering around 500. Much like the surprise of the year in the MLB, the Minnesota Twins. Mason, I know that's a topic you love to talk about.
Oh yes, I've been a lifelong Twins fan. It's just great to see them have a very tough season last year with the 100 losses, and it's just awesome to watch them. Even 500 right now has been a blessing for Minnesota Twins fans, and let's see if they can keep it up. And they definitely have some young talent, just like both teams out here that we're seeing today on the softball field. And they should be a force to be reckoned with in the years to come. So
absolutely, 12-11 the mark, I believe.
Yes, it is, and it's just the bats have really come alive for the Twins. That was a very dark spot for them last year, and they've really been able to put a team together and surprise a lot of people. A lot of people expected them to be very bad again this year, but they've stayed above the 500 mark so far, and let's see if they can keep it up.
Not to mention that first overall pick in the draft coming up.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be very interesting for the Twins. It's a great opportunity for them to get a player like you see Bryce Harper out there for the Nationals. And if you can find somebody like that in the draft, that can turn a team like the Twins that might be 500 right now. If they get that number 1 pickup in 3 or 4 years after he's developed in the minors, he could turn into a superstar. And then you take a 500 team into a playoff team just like that.
All right, well, that should be fun to watch develop, although we do get back to the game at hand, this softball game, which is a fun one to watch as well. Right now, it looks like they're making some repairs to the mound out there. Not quite sure what's going on, but it seems to involve a lot of tape.
Yeah, a lot of duct tape is look what they have out at the mound right now, but I'm sure the wonderful coaching staff here at Shanley will be able to patch that up here soon, and we'll have the action back to you shortly.
And talking about coaching staff, Shanley is led by a new head coach this season. Mason, you want to fill us in a bit more on that?
Yeah, last year's head coach for Shanley actually got an opportunity to go coach at the college level, and he is now at Concordia. So we have first-year coach Rebecca Conant taking over the reins here for the Deacons, and something that might scare some parents or outside fans that might not know too much about the program here at Shanley. She actually, the new coach is the JV coach last year, so I think it's been a very smooth transition for the players. They didn't really have to see a new face come into them on the first day of practice. It's just they lost the old coach, but I think the JV coach has done a wonderful job of stepping up to the varsity level and really taking over so far this year.
And Taylor Erholtz, the senior star for Shanley, headed to Concordia to reunite with that old coach.
Yeah, for sure. Erholtz is a wonderful player here for the Deacons, and I'm sure for opponents, you've seen Erholtz out here on the diamond for 3-4 years, and you're just wondering, when is she going to graduate? You see a lot of people like that here on Shanley TV. You just see athletes that seem to be out there year after year after year, and Erholtz has been a wonderful cornerstone of Shanley softball, and she's just been a very solid player for many years at Shanley, and it'll be exciting to see what she does at Concordia.
All right, well, it looks like they've got the repairs done down on the field, so we're ready to go for this 4th inning. It's been fun to watch so far. Back and forth battle. Now we get to see Red River back at it. Haven't picked up any runs since the top of that first, but that could very well change here. Their bats have not cooled down.
For sure, you've seen runners get on base for both teams early on in innings, and it'll be interesting to see. We're in the 4th inning. We haven't seen a single 1-2-3 inning yet. There's just been runners on base for both teams, and it's been a very, very lively game so far. Let's see if that action continues here in the 4th.
0-1 count for Kuntz here. Second pitch, though, is a low one into the ground. That'll even things up 1-1.
You can see another thing to see is Remke has really settled in. She let a couple get by her in the 1st inning, and since then she has just been a brick wall back there. So I'm sure that's been comforting for Swanson, too, as she starts to settle in and really start to retire some Rough Rider batters.
And Remke's play becomes even more impressive when you consider her age out there. Just a freshman playing a very tough position, something with a lot of pressure on you. It's been just really impressive to see the way she's stepped up here. This one's going to go past Nelson and into right field for the single. A nice hit there for Red River and for Quinn Kuntz, the sophomore.
Yeah, that was a fantastic leadoff hit. Another great job of the Rough Riders to get that leadoff hitter on, and let's see if they can try to put a couple more runs up here on the board and try to extend that lead that the Deacons cut into last inning.
Swanson on the windup. It's a high one. The bunt was shown. Now trying to make the play at second. It's safe.
Yeah, it looked like Remke actually had a beautiful throw down to Schanzenbach, but it looked like Kuntz was able to slide underneath the tag, which is just a very, very clever play there from the base runner, and she was able to slide her foot around the tag, and just one of those plays that it really stinks for the Deacons because you do everything right. You get the throw there on time, but just Kuntz made a fantastic play to slide around the tag and slide in there second. A very correct call by the umpire.
Absolutely. Kuntz really showing off some great softball IQ there, and now she'll advance to third as Remke, just after we get done talking about what a great job she's done, just lets one go by. We'll chalk that one up to the Shanley TV jinx.
It'll be important, though, that she starts to settle back in like she did before, because now with a runner at third base, if you let another one get by, she might be able to score. So it really is important here for Remke to really wall up and not let any more get by her.
It's Bohan, the pitcher here, batting for Red River. We saw Swanson get the best of Bohan when she was the batter, as Bohan takes a big swing at that pitch from Swanson.
A big thing to note here for the Deacons, if you're going to try to get out without any runs, you really might have to pick up a couple strikeouts or easy, weak outs. Otherwise, that runner from third is going to be able to score. If you strikeouts are huge in this situation if you have a runner on third with no outs. Either that or maybe a weak ground ball in the infield where the runner at third is not able to score.
And strikeouts oftentimes are not hard to come by for Ingrid Swanson, as this ball is not able to be pulled down there by Sorensen. The error in left field is going to cost the Deacons a run, and that's a tough break for Shanley. Looked like she was going to have the play, and the ball seemed to take a bit of a last-minute curve there.
For sure. It seems as if the wind may have picked up a little bit from the start of the game. You can see the flags are already blowing a little bit more than they did before, and that's a really tough break from Swanson. She did everything she needed to do there. That was a kind of a shallow pop fly. I don't think the runner from third would have been able to score if Sorensen would have corralled it, but it's big here for the Deacons if they want to try to get out of here with only one run of damage done. But also, on the other side, the Rough Riders are licking their chops right now with no outs and another runner in scoring position looking to put a couple more runs on.
Definitely. I've really been impressed. Red River started this game off, as we said, really hot offensively, and they just have not let up. It's tough to get this kind of production all game long, especially as the visiting team, and they have just not taken their foot off the gas. It's really been fun to watch.
For sure. When you see a pitcher like Swanson on the mound, it's just very surprising that a team like Red River is just able to come out here and make as good of contact as they have so far throughout this game. They've really just, I think, surprised a lot of people, maybe even the Red River fans, with how well they've hit the ball so far. But just it's a testament to them and their coaching staff that they came in ready to play here today.
Absolutely. Red River has the talent. It's just facing a strong pitcher here. Any team will have their issues, but not the Roughriders. They have been impressive as the Deacons are able to pick up and out there.
Yeah, nice play from Schanzenbach over at shortstop. That's a play that sometimes looks like routine, but when you already have one error that costed you a run early on in an inning, if you pile a couple of those up, that's when innings can really start to spiral out of hand. So that was a big play there from Schanzenbach to be able to retire the batter.
Tall pop fly grabbed there by Rober. Nice play there for Shanley, and that's what you want if you're the Deacons. You haven't really had too many breaks like that. Red River not giving you any easy flies, and finally they get one there to make this a 2-out inning.
Yeah, like I said, it's always nice to pick up those outs where you know that runner from third isn't going to be able to score, and now the Deacons have a chance here with 2 outs to try to get out of this inning with only 1 run done.
Swanson on the windup, high pitch. That'll be a ball. Yeah, it's unfortunate, for Shanley. We saw a couple more defensive errors here after they were really able to cool things down. A lot of it really not even seeming to be so much their own fault as much as some bad luck. We saw a ball move on Sorensen there. But now they're able to get out of the inning with that third out pulled down. A nice defensive play there from Linster.
Yeah, that was a beautiful hit there from senior Shauna Keatsman from Red River. She absolutely walloped the ball into deep center field. But as we mentioned, we have a returning all-conference center fielder in Elena Lister, and she was all over that ball and just made a fantastic play out in center to retire the Roughriders in the top of the 4th.
As you said, Mason, though, yeah, I got to hand it to Keatsman there. She hit a bomb. We've seen both teams get pretty close to that fence. Would not shock me at all if someone could break that and get over.
Yeah, it looks like the wind, as it did pick up, it picked out as the ball's starting to fly out of the ballpark, so that really gives teams an opportunity to maybe we might see a home run today. Who knows if Airholtz and Keatsman keep hitting the ball like they do. So something to definitely keep an eye on. And we have Gabby Nelson coming up here as a leadoff hitter for the Deacons, and that's another person with some great power. If you give her one, she can definitely take it for a ride.
No question. She does not even need the wind. That's absolutely. She can really knock that ball. Bohan, though, has had a great game. You mentioned those curveballs. Though she has really been impressive at really settling into that, using it as a great weapon so far.
Yeah, that having a great off-speed pitch as a pitcher is just very important, because if you're able to put in those off-speed pitches, as you see there, starting off with that first pitch curveball on Nelson, she can really mix it up, and you're just guessing as a hitter, and then you feel a little more uncomfortable, and sometimes that makes it a lot more difficult as a hitter.
A 1 count. Bohan with the pitch, and it's another swing there from Nelson.
Yeah, that looked like a changeup, actually, not even a curveball. So you see 3 pitches so far here from Bohan, and if she's able to keep switching up speeds, that really is going to be difficult for the Deacons here as the game progresses.
Nelson down early, trying to get herself out of a bit of a jam. We'll see what she does. Ball fouled back. Able to keep going.
Yeah, there's an old saying we had on the baseball team called tough with 2, and it really is just a testament to some hitters. If you get 2 strikes on you early on in counts, if you can foul off some difficult pitches, maybe the pitcher might make a mistake and you're able to get on base with 2 outs. Or 2 strikes, I apologize.
Well, Nelson throws that one down into midfield, and, well, tough on 2. There you go. She was just perfect there, able to pull herself out of a bad situation.
Yeah, exactly. Those are great ways to start the inning when you're down 0-2, and she fouled off a very tough pitch from Bohan and then took the next pitch into center field for a leadoff single, and that's a huge break for the Deacons. They're now able to start with a runner on first base rather than an early out in the bottom of the 4th.
Up to bat now for the Deacons. It's Callie Schanzenbach, and an error there is going to advance Nelson to second. She'll look third, but head on back to second, so another nice break there for Shanley.
Yeah, you saw it looked like the fake bunt from Schanzenbach really threw off the catcher there, because Red River's catcher has been very solid all night, and that was the first time you see them slip up. Let's see if they get a little bit of the butterfingers like the Deacons have had early on in this game.
Got to watch out for Schanzenbach, although that one's going to go into the ground for the throw out at first. Schanzenbach, though, had been showing off some power earlier on.
And sometimes those weak grounders kind of look like a mistake or a failed at-bat, but that was actually a great at-bat there for the Deacons, because the leadoff hitter, Gabby Nelson, was able to advance from second to third, and now you only have 1 out and a very good chance to knock in Gabby Nelson here in the bottom of the 4th with only 1 out and try to cut into that Red River lead.
For sure, it's been a great start to the inning for the Deacons as McSparron is up to bat.
You don't see McSparron out there in the field. It looks like she's DHing for junior Hope Rober right now, and she must have a very good bat if they have her DHing for Rober. So let's see if she has something in store for all of us here today.
McSparron, a 10th grader, but it's a name you've heard for a little bit. She played a vital role last year as a freshman. Again, using that hitting. She's been great for the Deacons as she hits that one foul on the near side.
Yeah, very important here. Down 1-2 in the count with only one out. If you can put a ball in play here, even if you get out, if you give Nelson a chance to score from third, that could be a huge lift for the Deacons to try to get the lead from 3-2 to from 3-1 to 3-2 for the Roughriders.
Bohan's pitch hit right to her by McSparron. Nelson going to try to make it home, and she will. As McSparron goes to first, a bit of confusion out there. I'm not quite sure everyone was aware of the situation.
Very confusing play. It looks like the Red River coach is maybe going to come out here and talk because you see McSparron holding her wrist. It looks like the ball might have actually gone off of her wrist, but the ref says that it went off of her bat. Very just confusing play. It looks like the umpires are going to come together here and see really what to say, but Nelson was all over it. She wasn't confused at all. She was at home by the time anyone else even reacted to the ball. Great jump there from Gabby Nelson to try to score. Let's see what the umpires decide here.
Well, it looks like we'll just continue things the way they played out. Again, odd play, but as you said, Gabby Nelson having no trouble there. She knows she's got one goal, just go home, and that's what she does to make this a one-run game once again.
Looks like they're just going to chalk that up as a hit there from McSparron. Very, very weird play, but the Deacons take advantage and now have a 2-3 deficit and only one out here in the bottom of the fourth. A chance to do a little bit more damage with 9-hitter Krista Schanzenbach and then the top of the order with Sorensen coming up after that.
And you'll see a pinch runner on for McSparron as she heads off. Hopefully that wrist is feeling okay after that play. It's Grace Ward, though, the senior on the pinch run.
Yeah, Grace Ward, very well-known name around Shanley. A lot of success in the speech and debate, but she decided to take her talents to the girls softball team this spring, and let's see if she has some speed in store for the Shanley TV viewers.
Nice pitch there from Bohan to start things off. And, we talk so much about her off-speed pitches, but when she gets that fastball going, she can really rip it.
Yeah, Bohan has really impressed me so far here today. She has really been able to ramp up the velocity, and she's mixed in some wonderful changeup and curveballs as well. And I think it's fantastic that the Deacons have been able to put up 2 runs on it because Bohan has really been pitching well here so far today.
No question. Another great pitch from Bohan as she will retire Krista Schanzenbach. Just really looking dominant out there.
And that was a fantastic at-bat there for Bohan. 3 pitches and just an easy strikeout there. She had 3 beautiful pitches and made quick work there of Schanzenbach.
So we're back to the top of the order now as Maria Sorensen is out to bat for the Deacons. Low pitch there from Bohan. Make it a 1-0 count here for Sorensen.
Yeah, you see Newly, she settles back in after that one pass ball. She's reverting to her old ways as a brick wall back there for the Roughriders.
Sorensen with some contact here. Look at this. But beautifully tracked down in center field by Newly, the center fielder.
Oh.
But as we were saying, it looked like someone was going to be close to going the yard here. And Sorensen, the girl we talked about with the great speed, looked like she might be the first one to go for a homer, though a great play made to get her out and end the inning.
Yeah, it makes me curious how many warning track fly balls we're going to see this game before one gets out. That's about 5 already we've seen today. We're just about 5 or 10 more feet, and that ball might go out. But great contact there from Sorensen, but once again, an even better play from the center fielder.
Absolutely. We enter the top of the 5th now, and these two teams are once again separated by 1 run. It's really been quite the game. We've seen a lot of odd plays for both teams. You saw Shanley pick up a run there off of quite the play. McSparron took one perhaps off the wrist. I'm still not sure what quite went down there. And, we saw Grand Forks Red River pick up another run before that off a ball that I think everyone thought Maria Sorensen had, and then a last-second gust of wind, I believe, blew that right away from her glove. So a tight game, and not shocking at all that looks like it's going to be decided by a lot of really razor-thin, really odd plays.
Yes, for sure. It's been a very entertaining game here so far through 4 innings. We still have 3 to go here at Cichy Field. Let's see what the rest has in store for us. And it looks like the catcher, Teresa Matson, is going to come up. I recently called the catcher Newly, but I saw the 1 on the back of the jersey, and Newly has 2 1s and Matson has 1, but she's the catcher, and she's the one that's been making plays behind the dish all night for the Lady Roughriders.
Well, no worries there, as both of them made some great plays in that inning. So both 1 and 11, Newly and Matson, doing great things for the Roughriders. Swanson with the low pitch. That'll be called a ball, 0-1 count.
And we've seen the Roughriders get a girl on base to start off pretty much every single inning here. Let's see if Swanson is able to make quick work out of Matson, or maybe not.
Well, Teresa Matson, really not the one you want on base. We talked about how aggressive she is out there. Really can get into your head if you're Shanley, because she has just no fear when she's on base.
For sure, you can see Remke starting to look over at the coaches here a little bit, see what they're going to do as Matson is now on with the early leadoff hit.
Matson showing she's running for second, and she'll get there safe. Matson in the head of the Deacons right now, and you can see why someone with that much speed, that much skill, it's really been her decision-making out there, too. Just kind of the complete package as a base runner.
For sure, you see the kind of bobbled ball there from Remke, and maybe not the most fantastic read from Matson, but you see, just like Sorensen had earlier in the game, that she was bailed out due to her speed.
And look at this. Rounding second now and headed to third is Haley Rude. A disastrous play there for the Deacons, for lack of a better word, as the Roughriders pick up another run and get a girl to third. That's a triple for Rude off of quite the play.
Yeah, that was the entire Deacon roster out there just looked very confused off of that short dribbler, but you saw fantastic base running there from the Roughriders. Matson was able to score from second, and Rude made it all the way around to third off of a ball that maybe traveled 5 feet off of the bat, and that's a huge break for the Roughriders and kind of a disastrous play for the Deacons. Right as they're starting to inch back into the game, they have to take a blow like that. So let's see how they respond to that.
And, we've talked a lot about Teresa Matson and, of course, the pitching of Kiera Bohan. But Haley Rude maybe has been the most impressive player for Red River today. Her consistency at bat, her ability to get on base, and then what she does when she gets on has just been incredible. You saw her turn that little dribbler into a triple, and it was because of her initial speed. I couldn't believe she got to first there. I don't think many girls could, but that speed was really impressive, and, of course, the batting is there as well. So a lot of people stepping up for Red River. You can see why they're up here. They're playing a great game now, up 4-2.
And for sure, you can't forget about the wonderful shortstop play for Rude here so far in the game. She's made a couple of great plays to retire Deacon batters that you can just see that she has the experience as a junior, and she's definitely been on the field for a long time for the Roughriders.
The bunt here advances Rude home. The Deacons, however, will get the batter out, and that was Newley who sacrificed there on the bunt.
Yeah, no chance there to get Rude. She had a great jump on that bunt, and Swanson is a very great fielder from the pitching position, but she knew she had no chance to get Rude with the speed that she had. So very smart play there just to take the out and just try to settle in here for the Deacons before any more damage is done by the end of the inning.
And right when this game was looking to be closer than ever before, it is 5-2, the biggest lead of the night for Red River, for anyone. And another single here as
Julia Solheim, just a beautiful rip right into left field. Nice line drive. She got the pitch she wanted from Swanson early on at the at-bat, and the Roughriders are looking to strike again.
The lefty Kuntz up to bat now. Low ball from Swanson. Solheim teases a bit and then heads back to first. Deacons took a bit of a break after that last series of events, and now look at this. Solheim's going to advance off an error at home plate. But as I was saying, the Deacons had a bit of a conference here. They brought everyone in, talked things over. If you're Ingrid Swanson right now, what's your mindset? Obviously, some tough events have happened here. A lot of them not your fault. It's got to be tough to keep your head in a good place in this game right now.
I couldn't agree more, Jed. With someone like Swanson, though, you can tell she has a very high amount of character out there on the diamond. She knows that she's playing with a lot of younger girls than she has in years previous, and I'm sure she's level-headed right now, and she's just looking to try to make a couple plays for her team right now and not really worrying about the past, but just having that next play mentality that is very important, and you see it often times, and the better players are able to move on when mistakes happen and make plays later on in innings.
Deacons just trying to get out of this inning right now, though. As you said, if you want anyone pitching, it is Swanson. But the Deacons, again, with some more errors. It looks like the Roughriders are going to get another girl home. It is 6-2. What an inning from Red River. Just really impressive offensively.
Yeah, you saw the coach bring them all together before that inning, and he must have really said something to them that really got them going because they have been crushing the ball so far this inning, and a couple of tiny mistakes from the Deacons have really added to that, and now all of a sudden the Roughriders find themselves with a 6-2 lead here in the top of the fifth.
Pop fly goes foul from Bohan, the pitcher, up to bat now.
And as I mentioned, it's been a great inning so far for the Roughriders, but they're still up 6-2, only one out so far, and there's a lot more chance to do some damage here for the Roughriders if they keep hitting the ball like they're doing.
Absolutely. It has been a great inning if you're a Rough Rider fan. Shanley, like I said, just trying to get out of this one, down 4 now. Some contact made, but that one will go foul here from Bohan.
Yeah, and it's been a rough inning so far for the Deacons, but I think it's important for them to realize that they've been hitting the ball very well all game too, so if they're able to get out of this down 4, there's no saying that they're not able to put a couple more runs on the board and still make this a close game down the stretch here. If they're just able to get out of this inning down 4 and just really try to minimize damage. That's sometimes big when teams are having really good innings, but let's see what they can do here now. 2 outs, 1 runner on third, and looks like number 7, Jada Steen, up to bat.
And you're right, Mason. Shanley really does have the capability to come back in this one, no question. We saw good offense from Red River before, but obviously nothing like this inning has been. And you really get the sense that Shanley could have this same kind of breakout inning. It's just how the dominoes fall if they can get the same series of events to fall their way here.
Yeah, and Swanson seems to have a little jolt in her step here, knowing that there's 2 outs now. She has the 8th grader Steen for the Roughriders, and I think it'd be a big momentum shift if she's able to come out and get Steen out here for her team and keep them only down 4 with still 3 innings to go, 9 outs left to try to do some damage and try to make the thing interesting down the stretch for the Deacons.
Swanson on the windup and a big swing from Steen. That'll be a strike.
Yeah, 1-2 count now for Steen, and with you see two contrasting players here. An 8th grader, probably very unexperienced Steen versus the experienced Swanson. You have to say that Swanson probably has the nod here, but Steen has already gotten a hit off of her this game. Let's see what she has in store here for the Roughriders.
2-2 count now. Swanson trying to end the inning. We'll see what she can do as that one is hit to third, grabbed by Ehrholtz, the throw to first, and that'll end the inning. Although not after the Roughriders put up 3 runs to build the biggest lead of the game here, up 6-2. So now entering the bottom of the 5th, Mason. If you're Shanley, how do you try to respond to that?
I would say the biggest thing is maybe take a pitch, see a strike from Bohan before you go out and get aggressive and maybe give her a couple, because say she loses control here in the next couple of innings and walks a couple of girls, if you can get a couple free base runners on and then just get a couple of clutch hits, that 4-run lead could really start to diminish if you can just be smart and be patient out there as hitters.
And folks, at this time, we'd like to take a minute to tell you if you've enjoyed watching our ShanleyTV.com broadcasts, please consider making a donation to help us continue to bring you quality programming. We rely on donations to bring you every broadcast, and we need your help to continue to improve the quality of our productions and to add new features for you, the viewer, to enjoy. If you're interested in donating, please contact Joel Shuey at 701-893-3225. Again, that's Joel Shuey at 701-893-3225. Thank you for watching, and thanks for your support of Shanley TV.
And Jed, you see here in the bottom of the 5th, we talked about the Deacons need to find a way to scratch back into this game. There's no better opportunity to do it with the 2-hitter Remke coming up and then that formidable 3-4-5 that we've seen so far from the Deacons. So if Remke could start off the inning here for the Deacons with a base hit or a walk, that would really help the Deacons out a lot in trying to cut this lead.
Well, it's an 0-2 count so far here for Remke. We'll see what the freshman can do in a tight spot, as she'll let that one go by for a ball. Bohan continuing a fantastic night here on the mound, as that one will go in for the strike, and another strikeout here for Bohan.
Yeah, beautiful curveball there from Bohan. Sometimes when you see a great curveball, you can almost see the knees of the hitter buckle, and you saw that there from Remke. Really just a beautiful pitch from Bohan, and not much you can do there as a hitter.
Ingrid Swanson up to bat, though, now for Shanley, and she has been one of their hottest bats tonight. We'll see what she can do here. Tough situation. You need someone to step up. I can think of no one better than Swanson. There's some power behind that one. Grabbed and thrown to first, though. A great defensive play from Solheim. Red River not fooled at all. They are doing a great job defensively.
Yeah, that was fantastic contact there from Swanson, but an even better play there from Solheim to retire Swanson to get the second out of the inning. And now, all of a sudden, we talked about that 2-3-4 coming up for the Deacons and just some danger maybe on the brink for the Roughriders, but all of a sudden they get 2 early outs, and they're very comfortable right now with where they're at.
Yeah, you know, as Grand Forks, you might fear a retaliation of sorts from Shanley here, going off for a huge offensive inning of their own. But Red River has done a fantastic job of just shutting Shanley down early here. Haven't given them any momentum, just not giving them much room to work with. And that's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, Shanley has played very well so far, but Red River has just had a little bit of an edge, and they've gotten a few more breaks. But both teams are playing very well, and you can tell that Red River really just has not given them an inch.
And the strike there. Bohan looking to continue this inning of dominance. Make it 3 up and 3 down. Erholtz hits one to Bohan. She throws it to first, and that'll do it. A dominant inning, I think, is the best way to describe that.
Yeah, first 1-2-3 inning we've seen all game, and it could not have come at a better time for the Roughriders there. They extended their lead in the top of the inning and were able to go 1-2-3 in the bottom, and now they find themselves in a very comfortable spot, looking to maybe add a few more insurance runs here at the top of the 6th.
And folks, at this time we would like to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at ShanleyAthleticClub.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member and anyone can join, so sign up today at the Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level.
And Jed, before the start of this inning, I have to ask, I'm sure all of our viewers know the NBA playoffs are going on right now. I gotta ask, who do you think's gonna take home the championship this year?
Well, I mean, looking at the playoffs this year, it's a loaded question. You know, my brain says Golden State. My heart, though, says the Celtics. To me, they're just a good story. I love Isaiah Thomas as a player, especially in the playoffs. I think he's got all the makings to be a clutch performer. So I guess I'd have to go with the heart here. I'm going to put my money on the Celtics.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was going to say the Celtics, too. I'm a big Celtics fan. I love Isaiah as well, and it should be very interesting to see what goes on in the NBA playoffs as well.
Well, if the Shanley TV jinx is still alive, I'm sorry to all Celtics fans at home. So the Deacons back out here after that rough inning. You know, need to say no more about that. They know what happened. We know what happened. We'll see if they can respond, although Grand Forks Red River keeping their foot on the gas. Look at that, the single to start things off from Seng.
Yeah, and it's been the story all game. The Roughriders have been able to put a runner on to start off the inning in practically every single inning, and that's just such a huge boost as an offense, knowing that you already have somebody on base with no outs so far. And also kind of tough as a defense with every single inning you've not really been able to kind of get ahead on the offense at all, and you always have runners on with nobody out, and it puts a lot more pressure on you as a defense.
We'll see what the Deacons can do. They did let that first runner on, but they could respond strong here. It's a bunt that's going to stay fair, I believe, and lots of confusion out there.
Yeah, it looks like there may have been a missed bunt coverage there from either the left fielder or the shortstop. Nobody covered third. Erholtz did her job coming up on the bunt, and nobody was there to cover third. But it looks like the umpires are going to make her go back to second base here because the Keatsman tried to bunt, and she actually ran into the ball, which is an automatic out as an offense. So now the Deacons have one out and a runner on second base.
So, I mean, if you're Shanley, that's kind of what you're looking for there. I mean, you do have the runner on second, but you're able to pick up the out. And for the Deacons, the outs have been hard to come by as of late, so you've got to be happy to get that. As Linster tracks that one down and makes a great play, now moving this ball back in field as Seng will advance to third, but the Deacons do pick up the second out.
Yeah, and another relief there for the Deacons. Keatsman was the one that laid down the bunt there, and that has to be a relief for Swanson. The last at bat, Keatsman absolutely drove one to deep center field, and then she comes back with a bunt. That's always something that you don't really expect as a defense after you see somebody crush a ball, and then after that come back with a bunt. But
Ehrholtz with a beauty of a grab there, a great throw to first, and just like that, the Deacons respond with a pretty dominant inning of their own. You know, if you're Shanley, obviously you're still down in this hole, but you've got to be happy with your defensive effort there.
yeah, for sure. Big plays by Taylor Ehrholtz, 2 innings in a row over at third base. She's able to make routine plays, but also kind of tough routine plays to end the inning and just keep that lead as low as possible for the Roughriders.
So now we saw their defense step up. Can the offense do the same thing? It's funny, it was the offense at first that was kind of Shanley's strong suit here. We saw their defense struggle, and now it's a bit of a role reversal as that offense has faded a little bit. They're still in a pretty good part of the order, though, headed into this inning, so we'll see what they can do in the bottom of the sixth.
And I would say it's definitely important for someone like Lister here to lead off the inning with just get on base. That's all you have to do. I think that's part of the reason why Red River has the lead that they do right now is they've been able to put a girl on base to start off every single inning, and that's what the Deacons really haven't been able to do, and I would say that's one of the big keys why the Roughriders have a 6-2 lead right now.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Mason. I think that's really been the story of the game, absolutely.
But a chance here, great chance for the Deacons. Lister, all-conference last year, great player for the Deacons. Let's see if she can do something here to start off the inning for the Deacons.
Linster showed bunt. Lets it go by, though. Gutsy play to start things off, although didn't quite follow through with it. That one did go by. Bohan now with the next pitch. Grounded to the shortstop. The throw to first looked a little wild, but a great grab there. Strong defensive play from Seng, and that'll send Linster back with the first out.
Yeah, you see Haley Rude coming up with another great play there, and she's been making plays on offense, defense, and the base path all day for the Roughriders. She's definitely been a big reason why they have a 6-2 lead right now.
Nelson now up to bat for Shanley, makes some nice contact. It's Rude who grabs it and gets it to Seng, and I think we may have just watched an instant replay. Another great play there from Grand Forks Red River.
Yeah, Rude is just making it look easy out there right now for the Roughriders. Just hard ground balls right at her. She doesn't even hesitate. Fields it easily over to first base, and now two down for the Deacons.
And, you know, they look like routine plays because they are, but I think if this game isn't evidence, I don't know what is. Routine plays can be very hard to execute well. We've seen a lot of slip-ups here from both sides. Very hard to do something like that over and over again in a game setting.
Yeah, and you can see those routine plays are sometimes made – they just look easier for some players, such as Rude for the Roughriders and Ehrholtz for the Deacons. They make those hard ground balls. They just feel them, and they make them so easily. They look easy even though they might not actually be. Absolutely,
and also got to give credit to Seng there as she was able to grab a couple of wild throws there and grabs that pop fly to end the inning. So just after Shanley puts on probably their greatest defensive inning of the game, Grand Forks Red River responds with one of their own. So offense now tough to come by for both sides after Red River's explosion a couple innings back. It's now 6-2 heading into the final inning here, the top of the seventh. So Shanley in a tight spot. They need to get things done fast on defense and then do some big things on offense.
Yes, for sure. Definitely two different mindsets for the two teams right now. Red River probably just thinking, try to put on a couple more runs here and give Bohan as much insurance as possible, and then just go out and try to basically not give up 4 runs in the bottom of the seventh and just walk out of here with a win. And then if you're the Deacons, you almost have to go 1-2-3 or not let any runs up this inning if you want a chance to put some runs up on the board in the bottom of the seventh and maybe go to extras or maybe a walk-off, but that's a long ways away here for the Deacons. They need to start here on defense.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing you can't do if you're Shanley is get your head into the later part of the inning. You don't want to be focusing on offense while you're supposed to be playing defense, because that can lead to you giving up some more runs playing distracted, and that's just not going to help anything. So just got to take it one play at a time here if you're Shanley. Can't get too far ahead of yourselves.
For sure, and you see Newly leading off here for the Roughriders. She's had a fantastic game today, too, as well for the Roughriders, and I think a big step to maybe getting out of this inning with no runs surrendered would be to get Newly out to start the inning, because you've seen that trend of leadoff hitters getting on all game for the Roughriders. Let's see if the Deacons can flip that trend here.
The pitch from Swanson is fouled back there by Newley. That'll start things off 0-1.
And Newley's another player for Red River. You see some serious speed on this roster. You see Madsen, Rude, as well as Newley. They can all absolutely fly once they get on base. So retiring her would just be a big boost here for the Deacons.
Swanson's second pitch into the ground evens up the count. That's something we saw it a bit more in the start of the game, but it has kind of stuck with her throughout. We've seen a couple of those balls into the ground. Swanson never really given that chance to kind of settle in today. I think that's been clear. A nice hit there from Newley straight down center field. She'll round first and then head back, but once again, that leadoff hitter is on base.
Yeah, that is just great hitting there from Red River. To start innings off, we can't say it enough. It's so crucial if you can get a leadoff runner on either with a walk or a hit. It's just been definitely a huge reason why they have the lead that they do so far, and it just can't be said enough how crucial that is to try to win softball games.
Swanson now with the pitch, another low one. We have seen her turn it on a bit more here in the later innings. It really is kind of when she shines. Swanson, no doubt a clutch player, I think you can call her. But against these Red River bats, it's just very hard to perform at a high level at any point in the game. They've just been so strong. And now look at this, Shanley with some more defensive errors. It's finally the senior Airholtz, though, who's able to get that ball settled down.
Yeah, that was a unfortunate break there for the Deacons. Probably should have gotten out there for Swanson, but now all of a sudden you see runners on the corners for Red River, and they're definitely looking to get a couple insurance runs here for Bohan before they go into the bottom of the seventh.
And Mason, we've talked a lot about so many different girls who've had great games. Matson, Rude, Steen, Kuntz, Newell. At some point, I think you kind of start to realize that it's pretty much their whole lineup who's had a great game. I think you really just kind of have to tip your hat to Red River. They've played an unbelievable game today.
For sure. They showed up to Cichy ready to play today, and they've just been throwing the ball around beautifully, not really making very many mistakes, making great contact on the ball against a pitcher like Swanson, and it's definitely shown here on the scoreboard.
So now runners on second and third, and up to bat is Quinn Kuntz for Grand Forks. Swanson's pitch into the ground, and then that's mishandled. Swanson, though, with the smart play to get to home plate.
Yeah, it looks like the umpire may have saved the Deacons a run there. Remke let that one get by her, but the umpire kind of looked like it hit off of his leg and avoided going all the way back to the backstop.
A lot of plays like that in today's game. We've seen a couple of odd things go the Deacons' way and the Roughriders' way, so no surprise there.
Yes, for sure. I don't think one team has really gotten overly lucky so far this game. It's been a very balanced game, and I think it's almost surprising to see that the score is 6-2 because it has been a pretty evenly matched game, but Red River has definitely had the edge. That's why they have the lead that they do right now.
Swanson's pitch, another low one, and that issue that plagued her in the first few innings kind of starting to creep back in here. Maybe a little fatigue for that arm. She has had to throw a lot of balls here this afternoon.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when Red River is just constantly having base runners on. Not any really quick innings except for that sixth inning here for the Deacons. And now all of a sudden you see the bases are loaded with nobody out. This could really be detrimental for the Deacons' chances at a comeback.
And who else but Bohan up here now, the pitcher who's also had a nice afternoon batting on with bases loaded and no outs.
Yeah, just like we saw with Swanson earlier, when you have a runner on base, it's a great chance to help yourself out as a pitcher to just add insurance runs or to try to get a couple of runs back in Swanson's case. And you can definitely tell that Bohan is trying to help herself out here.
Swanson again with that low pitch. Really cannot afford to walk one here.
Yeah, if there is one positive here for the Deacons is that you have the bottom of the order right now for the Roughriders. So this is a good chance for Swanson to help herself out and maybe try to get out of this inning.
Towering hit to center field, and that one's going to get past Linster. She made the play all afternoon long, but nobody is catching up to that ball. And just like that, Red River puts two more runs up on the board, 8-2 at the top of the seventh. what an afternoon for Grand Forks.
Yeah, for sure. I think I might have just gotten the Shanley TV jinx going again because just as you say, the bottom of the lineup, she rips a double into the gap. There really are no weak links in this Red River lineup, and they're hitting the ball fantastic today.
Well said. Pinch runner comes in for the Roughriders. It's Rodingen into the lineup. She'll take the place at second. Steen at the plate. That one hit into the ground. Ehrholtz grabs it, makes the throw to first. Nelson trying to get the out at home. And she will. 2 outs there for the Deacons, so a nice recovery play, although just in their joy, they kind of forget what's going on, and Red River's able to advance a girl to third. And, you know, that really sums up a lot of what's happened today. Shanley has had a lot of success. You see right there, they make a great defensive play. But once again, it's Red River, that mental aspect of the game. They are just all over the place. They really seem to know what's going on at all times.
Yes, for sure. And we talked about the inexperience of Red River early on in the broadcast, and that really has not shown at all today. You can definitely see the youth in Shanley's team in some of the plays throughout this game, but Red River definitely looks like a team that's just aged beyond their years, and maybe on paper they look like they have a lot of underclassmen out there, but really you can tell this team is playing really well and is very, very mature for the age that they actually have out there.
And those seniors and juniors, those upperclassmen they have out there are absolutely playing up to expectations and then some. You know, I think it really helps when you have those older players who are playing the way you expect. I think that's really great for your younger players. Sets a good example. Red River just really seems to have things figured out, playing some great softball. And it kind of makes you wonder, you know, how they're just at 500 this season.
For sure, they are only 6-6 this year, but the team that showed up to Cichy today looked like they could maybe take down West Fargo, even though West Fargo's been at top of softball in North Dakota for the longest time.
Strike there for Swanson. Looking a bit more characteristic there.
It looks like we have a pinch hitter, Abigail Keatsman. It was actually, I'm guessing, either sisters or cousins. You had Abigail pinch hitting here for Shauna, and let's see if she can get a hit here for, I'm guessing, her sister.
Well, it's a 1-1 count, and 9-2 the lead for Red River. Very impressive job building up this lead headed into the bottom of the 7th. You know, Shanley trailed 6-2. You know, big deficit to make up, but definitely something they could do if their offense played the way they had in earlier innings. But 9-2. I think the story of the game really has been Red River. Whenever they take that lead, they really take it for good. They're not letting Shanley back into this one at all. They're closing the door, and that's what it takes to win these games.
For sure, and I think in any sport that is really crucial for coaches to remind their players is when you get a lead, you can't just be happy and start to get content with where you're at. You need to keep the foot on the gas and try to extend that lead to avoid a team coming back from you late in the game.
No question.
And I think that is just a testament once again to the Red River team that they did not let up at all once they got that lead, and they have pretty much buried all chances of a comeback here for Shanley, but I will say never. You never know what will happen.
That is very true, Mason. If we've learned anything, broadcasting countless numbers of games, a lot can happen in any sport. We've seen it in softball. We've seen it everywhere. So 9-2 may be the lead, but I'd stay tuned, folks.
And if this game does end with about a 7-run win for Red River, I think it's important to maybe realize for people who are at the game today, this game seemed to be a lot closer, and the teams were a lot more evenly matched than kind of a 9-2 blowout might look like. And I think the Deacons definitely showed some promise here at home in our first Shanley TV broadcast. I think with the young players, if they continue to maybe grow and watch those upperclassmen play a little bit, by the end of the year when the tournament comes around, I would say that no team would really want to see Swanson on the mound and the rest of the Shanley team out there.
And now it looks like I don't know what it looks like, Mason. Shanley pulling all their players in. And
looks like
Red River going to take the field. Were the outs miscounted, perhaps? We have 2 up here. And now All right, and sorry about that brief absence there. We were getting a clarification perhaps from our producer here, Gabe Thomas. It seems like there was a bit of an error. Maybe they were looking at the lineup card, and Mason, before this delay started, you mentioned there was a pinch hitter in there. So perhaps there was a problem there. Something to think about, because they did appear to be going over that lineup sheet.
Yeah, I would say it definitely had something to do with the pinch hitter Keatsman there, but fortunately for Red River, that's not a mistake you want to have in a really close game, but at least their bats kind of made up for them, and they still have that 9-2 lead. But something they should definitely keep an eye on, because if you make a mistake like that late in the year when you maybe only have like a 1 or 2 run lead, that's not something you would want at all. But definitely a learning experience there for the Roughriders.
So Shanley happy, though, to have some good fortune here. Again, down 7 runs, very tough situation. We'll see what they can do, though. Towards the end of their batting order here, I believe.
It looks like Rober may have waived the designated hitter McSparron here for Rober.
And, we did see McSparron, we think, take a ball off the wrist, and we have not seen her since, so.
Yeah, it looks like she is got some ice on it over there, actually, on the bench. You can see that here from the broadcasting booth. So hopefully she'll be all right and get that wrist iced up, and she will definitely be crucial for the team to get back here before their game on Thursday.
The pitch from Bohan is high, and that'll be a ball here. 1-2 count.
Yeah, a big thing for Bohan here is just to really attack the zone. When you have a 7-run lead, you cannot give up any walks or hit by pitch. Obviously, you have some breathing room, but if you can just attack the zone and really make hitters hit, that's the best chance of success she has.
So up to bat now, it's Krista Schanzenbach, the 8th grader.
Looks like the Deacons have the 9-hitter here and then the top of the order with Sorensen.
And that's a strike there for Bohan. And I tell you what, she has not faded at all down the stretch, really showing not only her great high-end ability, but also endurance to last through this whole game. She's thrown a pretty decent number of pitches, not looking like she's slowed down at all.
For sure, you can tell that her velocity really has not fallen off at all from the first inning to the last. It almost looks like she's throwing it harder now than she was at the start of the game, and she's really gotten into a groove and made it very hard for Deacon hitters all day long.
I definitely agree with that statement, Mason. And her pitches have looked even better as this game has gone on. As you said, it's that groove that I think Swanson just wasn't able to settle into that we've seen Bohan really get herself into. And that's definitely been a big difference here in this game.
Yes, I think that both the Roughriders and the Deacons have wonderful pitchers, and you could see glimpses today from Swanson, but I don't think she was ever able to really find it. Maybe obviously you're not going to be able to be on every single day, but she definitely showed glimpses, and hopefully she can find that when the time is right for the Deacons later on in the year.
And look at that, Bohan with another strikeout here. She is ending this game, I think, in the best way imaginable. She's had quite the afternoon and finishing it off right.
Yeah, she's just been dominant all day, and she's finishing the bottom of the 7th here, and it's really just a testament of how well she's pitched all day and given the Roughriders just a great chance to win this game today.
Sorensen, though, staying alive here for the Deacons. She hits that one down into center field and gets to first. We're up here wrapping the game up, and Maria Sorensen's saying, hey, I'm still down here, I'm still playing, and that's what she does, able to get on first.
For sure, great hit there from Sorensen. She was not phased at all by watching her last 2 teammates go down on strikeouts, and she came into her bat ready to hit, and she drove one right up the middle. Great hitting there from Sorensen.
Sorensen aggressive there on first, and you got to be in this situation. It's Remke batting, the catcher at the plate for the Deacons.
Yeah, if you're Sorensen here, though, you do want to be careful because you are down 7 runs, and if you want a chance to come back with 2 outs, you don't want to get picked off on the base pass because that gives your team no chance to come back. I know baseball coach Luke Rustad always used to tell his players that if you're down that much, your run doesn't really mean much, so you do need to score, but you definitely don't need to make a mistake on the base paths to just give the team the win right there.
Well said. The pitch is high. Remke not phased so far by Bohan. It's a 2-1 count. Remke makes contact, but it'll be a throw out to first, although that one bounces off the glove. Sorensen rounding third, and she'll stay there as Remke's able to get to first, and Sorensen will stay at third. Again, the Deacons not done, and you got to love the resiliency here.
Yes, for sure. I think it's great for a team like the Deacons when you have a lot of young players just to show resiliency early on in the year, because obviously there's still a lot of season left, and when you're down 9-2 in the bottom of the 7th, just not go down without a fight. You never just want to just kind of roll over and let a team just beat you. You definitely want to show some fight, and I think it's great that Sorensen stepped up and kind of started the inning. Let's see if the upperclassmen now with the 3, 4, 5 are ready to step up as well for the Deacons.
Yeah, great part of the order coming up here for Shanley. Kind of in the best possible situation. Obviously, you don't want those 2 outs, but they've put themselves, I think, in the best place they can, given the circumstances here.
For sure, and I think it's just one at-bat at a time. If everyone can just put together a good at-bat, I'm sure crazier things have happened, but let's just see if Swanson can get it started here for the Deacons with maybe a base knock and hit in that runner over at third.
Swanson versus Bohan. It's been a fun battle to watch. Again, they're the 2 pitchers. And Sorensen's going to make the run for home plate. Look at that, Maria Sorensen. You can see why she's the leadoff hitter, showing not just the speed there, but a real heads-up play. Able to go home there off the error from the Roughriders.
Yeah, we talked about the experience of Newley and Rude all day here today, but that was the first time you've kind of seen them look a little off task. It looked like they were expecting a first and third steal, but the Deacons obviously are playing patient right now because they know that it's going to take a lot more than just one steal of second base in order to get back in this ball game.
So the deficit now is 6. A runner on first. Swanson up to bat, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Bohan with the pitch. Fast one. Maybe a little high as it's a 1-2 count now. Showing off that fastball, though, which, as we've said, has been just as good as those changeups. And a big bomb here from Swanson goes deep into center. Look at this. Shanley still with life here. More than just a little bit of life. They're playing like it's a tie game right now, and why not?
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the Deacons, but also good at the same time that they're great contact all game, but it's just now in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs, starting to kind of find those holes, and obviously you don't want to give up yet with one of your best hitters, Ehrholtz, coming up to the plate. Let's see if she can knock in 2 runs here from for the Deacons.
Ehrholtz has been so close to going all the way today, and she won't go too far, but she will get the blooper into center, and that's going to send 2 girls home. Look at this.
Great hit there from Ehrholtz. First pitch, jumped on it, and just a nice hit into center field, scores 2 for the Deacons, and now all of a sudden the Deacons had a 7-run deficit, now looking only at 4, and looks like the Red River coach is going to come out and try to cool her girls down.
And, you know, what Ehrholtz did right there, Mason, you talked about how the Deacon bats have been the best they've been all game here in the waning part of the game. What she did right there was what she's been just off of all game long, finding the gaps in that defense. She's made fantastic contact, no question. Had some huge bombs, but right there, that was, I think, the ball she'd been looking for all game.
For sure, there's no better spot for her to finally come up for the Deacons, and I know she had the sacrifice fly earlier where she really got a hold of one, but it finally found the hole there for Ehrholtz, and she got the fruits of her labor there with the 2 RBI double.
And now if you're Shanley, you're looking at a better situation here. But again, you just can't get too far ahead of yourself. It was that one play at a time mentality that's gotten you back into this. Now you got to keep that up here.
Yes, and once again, you still see that 3, 4, 5 finally coming alive here in the bottom of the 7th, and Lister hopefully can keep it going here for the Deacons.
A 1 count. Again, it's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Linster hammers one deep down center field. Ehrholtz is going to make it home. Linster to second, and that's as far as she'll go. But look at this, a 9-6 score. The Deacons only down 3. Well, we said stranger things have happened, and it is looking pretty interesting right now. For those of you still with us, made a good move not tuning away. It's just a 3-run game, folks.
Yeah, for sure. We finally saw that 3, 4, 5 all kind of piece together those at-bats that we know that they are capable of, and it definitely paid off for the Deacons here. They've put up 4 runs so far in the bottom of the 7th. Let's see if they can keep it going.
It's Gabby Nelson at the plate for Shanley. 1-0 count. Nelson pops that one up, foul, out of play.
You can tell the Bohan is only a sophomore, but she really does not seem too flustered from all this. She's still finding the strike zone and not really giving the Deacons any easy she's obviously given them pitches to hit, but she hasn't really given them any easy at-bats of walks or hit by pitches or anything, and that's very important for the Roughriders because the way the Deacons are hitting the ball right now, if you give them a couple of free walks onto the base paths, it could be very dangerous here for the Roughriders.
Absolutely. Nelson takes a swing at that one, maybe getting a little antsy. Definitely didn't look like one you'd want to take a whack at. But, you know, Shanley starts this comeback here down 7 runs. Obviously, your mentality is a bit different. As this becomes maybe more of a reality, you get a bit tighter and you can understand some of those plays. And Nelson right there will pop that one up and go out. So a tough finish, but how about that effort from Shanley there in the bottom of the 7th inning? Really impressive. You know, down 9-2, they make it a 9-6 final score. You know, at worst, you make the box score look better. Really just a nice way to end the game.
Exactly, Jed. I think that was very beneficial for the Deacons. We talked all game about their young talent, and I think both of these teams, with the way they played today, if they can just fix up a couple of small details and just continue to improve throughout the entire season, both of them could be very dangerous down the stretch and really be teams that no one else is going to want to see maybe for a state qualifying game or something like that.
No question. You know, it was Shanley with the great finish, but again, hats off to Red River. It came in here and really played an unbelievable game. Overall, just a fantastic one to watch, a great finish. At the end of the day, though, Red River, I think, really turned a lot of heads and improves to 7-6, above 500. So, an eventful game in the end, though. Roughriders come out on top. Any final thoughts here, Mason?
No, I would just say once again, just keep your eye out on the girls softball, and I think the Roughriders and Deacons are both very capable of making runs late in the year. They both have senior leadership as well as underclassmen talent. And just very wonderful game today, very eventful, action-packed, and it was fun to watch.
Absolutely. However, for Mason Timian and our entire crew, I'm Jed Thomas. Your final score from Fargo, Shanley Deacons 6, Grand Forks Red River Roughriders 9. To watch the archive version of this game and our other broadcasts, go to ShanleyTV.com. Proceeding has been a presentation